Good afternoon. It's Lorraine here in Soyuz, British Columbia, and we're here gathering at the Wellness Gathering, and I'm very pleased to welcome our guests, our participants, and we're continuing on with our theme of ownership and uh, taking ownership of your well-being and health. And today we're going to focus on W for warrior. So Lynn is going to facilitate this. Okay, Warrior Lynn.
Warrior Lynn. Well, we're going to all be warriors. I think sometimes we have to be warriors in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it calls for that. Yes, so we're going to be looking at that concept of being a warrior. And so we're going to start by saying your name, saying where you are, and tell us something that you notice in front of you right now. So my name is Lynn, and I'm in Calgary, Alberta. And something that I notice that's in front of me right now is, well, I have a calendar that's on my wall in front of me right now, and it has this beautiful waterfall picture, and it's a fall picture because the leaves are all oranges and reds, and but it just it kind of makes me reminds me just how I kind of feel right now. I feel like water is just running over me right now. So I've been learning a lot of different types of fascial body work, and it's all about the water that moves through our bodies. So that's what I see in front of me right now. Madeline?
I'm Madeline. I am in, excuse me, Calgary, Alberta. And something that I see in front of me right now, well, of course, my computer screen, but off to the side, I see a bowl that normally has fruit in it, but it has nothing in it. I just put the last banana in the freezer because it had kind of gone a little bit too far. So, yeah, so that's a good reminder that replenishment is necessary sometimes to kind of keep that fruit thing going, especially this time of year, right? When I tend to fall off when things aren't as fresh in my face. So yeah, that's what's right in front of me, out of the corner of my eye, as it were. A fruit bowl.
That's you, Olive.
My name's Olive. I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and in front of me I have something rather odd. It's my kitchen mat drying out because I spilled water on it when I was washing dishes. So it's very exciting.
So, how about you, Lorraine?
Okay, I'm Lorraine. I'm in British Columbia, Osoyoos, and right in front of me, what I see in front of me is a cup of water. This is my filtered water. I'm going to have a sip of it.
Awesome. Well, noticing what's right in front of me right now and being present, I think has, when we think about being a warrior, I think of, warriors are very present and and they're ready to go and do whatever is necessary. But I also think of martial arts and, being a ninja, kind of navigating, being a warrior for our wellness and for our bodies and for our lives. And sometimes I don't think it's about fighting necessarily. I think it's about expanding out and being present and being clear with what's truly important on the inside. So let's just look at this concept of being a warrior. What is something that comes up for you when you think of being a warrior or a warriorship or having a warrior kind of attitude for your health and your wellness? How about you, Lorraine?
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind is being strong enough to take charge of your health and your well-being, and I focus on what my presence is and what my future will be, and just feeling confident and strong about that attitude.
And so what is it about the strength then?
It just gives me a confidence and a focus, and looking forward to whatever I develop from moment to moment.
So how does that play into you being a warrior? I'm just curious.
Yeah, my daughter, she's delving into my inner soul. How does it play into?
Well, that was a word that you know, we kind of went through all kinds of words, and that's an interesting word that we're focusing on. So I'm going to have everybody kind of look at, like, what is
Well,
this
I
word?
think it really brings you me a strength within myself that I'm very capable of being in charge and making my own decisions and solving any problems I might have, even if I might need some help along the way. But I mean, and even the warrior accepting it help, have a crew to help you with where I'm going. So that's how it's fitting into my life.
Yeah. How about you, Madeline?
Well, I have to confess, warrior first, I think of training in terms of war, in terms of conflict or battle of some description, but that's not necessarily all of it. I think warrior, I think it takes discipline to really succeed at mastering something, just like I think, Lynn, you mentioned, like, well, Kung Fu or something
Or
that
like
you
martial
mentioned.
arts.
Martial arts, thank you.
Martial-
Yeah, you mentioned martial arts. And so that kind of training but the discipline of keeping at it, of whatever the topic is, I think it is that factor that separates the person who's just dabbling from the person who is really mastering it. And that's the warrior side of things.
Mm.
So really mastering your conviction, I think, is part of it.
So what do you like when you look at your health and your
Health.
wellness? What, and just where you're at, like, how does that apply in your life?
I think being willing to say what I am doing, eating, exposing myself to the way I'm treating my body, the way I'm treating my the inputs of what I'm listening to and hearing and seeing, and all the things that are that affect me become what I am able to control. And so those controls, those awarenesses become the thing that I can master. And so the discipline is to understand what is good for you and what isn't good for you, to be really, on the path of I want to feel good. And that becomes where you can why you have the discipline that you might have, the goal to feel good.
So that quality of discipline,
Mm-hmm.
how it helps you discern where you're putting your attention.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Olive? What comes up for you when you think about this warrior thing?
When I first heard that we were going to be discussing the word warrior, I thought of comedian Mary Walsh from This Hour Has 20 Minutes, or This Hour Has 22 Minutes, where she would dress up as the warrior princess and she would go out and interview controversial and hard to get to people in the public eye, and she wouldn't back down. she would follow them into their car, into their house, into the House of Parliament, and she would just keep asking those questions and not back down. So I kind of like Mary Walsh. I think there's a little warrior princess in all of us, and we should just keep asking the tough questions, questions of ourselves, questions of our doctors, of our politicians, of the people who are trying to give us advice and lead us in the right direction. We have to keep asking the tough questions.
Yes.
That's where I went with it.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing, what are those qualities of a warrior? Like, and it may not be just fighting a battle, but it's that persistence, it's the discipline, it's the, keep going for the truth or whatever, or especially when it has to do with my well-being or our well-being, so what are some qualities of being a warrior that you find to be helpful in your life? How about you, Lorraine?
Qualities? Well, I'm just learning to be strong and focused, and that's a hard question. What qualities?
Well, strong and focused.
Strong and focused.
They're good qualities.
There you go.
Well, yeah. I was thinking of other words to use,
Got it.
but I guess that would be it.
Yeah. What about you, Olive?
Words I think of are the qualities I think of are persistence, integrity, honesty, and being yourself.
How about you, Madeline?
Well, curiosity, because one has to be curious about other things that may be out of your wheelhouse or possibilities. What else? What else is, like you have to be able to stretch your own boundaries a little bit to be willing to see somebody else's way of seeing that or whatever it is, right? Being able to appreciate somebody else's point of view, and be open to ask what maybe that is. So acceptance, understanding, I think are all good qualities that one needs to bring into a well-rounded question, right?
Yeah, totally. Well, the one that comes up for me is being ready and prepared, and preparedness. I think of warrior or warriorship. They're ready. They're always ready. And maybe that's the presence. And often I think being a warrior can be associated with yin and yang. There's that yang, I'm gonna get her done kind of warrior, and then there's that kind of other side of the yin part where I can still be a warrior but be soft and ready and prepared. And so I think we all have the ability to be that yangy kind of warrior and that soft, gentle, mama, I don't know, kind of ready and prepared type of warrior. Without going in. Yeah. And I mean, I like what you're saying, Olive, about the, she's dressing up like a warrior goddess and just not backing down. And, those are, I think the feminine can be really warrior. It's not to say that all warriors are male, right? Sometimes it can be associated with male or female, and it is a quality of, I think it should be warriorship or, some sort of action. So when it comes to our health and wellness, what ways do you want to apply that for your body, your family, you know, things that are important to you. I know for myself, I want the best for my family. I know there's so much available now for keeping ourselves well, and I'd like to see them empowered to know that they can take care of themselves. So that's something that I want, you know. How about you, Olive? What do you, how does it being a warrior apply in your day-to-day life with your,
In my day-to-day life, I like to think that I pursue the truth, that I don't just accept what I'm told by somebody who might be an authority. I research what's been said and question what's been said, form my own opinion. That's my warrior strength.
asking the questions, eh? How about you, Madeline?
I think trusting myself is a big one. Trusting that what I feel, especially with my body, that that I understand what's going on, that there is a way of being in tune, so that it isn't just an ache, take a pill, that there is, you know, other things that can be instrumental in balancing what's going on in your body, and looking at other ways. And I think that's one of the bigger things that I turn to in terms of taking care of me.
Mm, mm. That intuition.
That
Yeah.
intuition, yeah.
How about you, Lorraine?
How does warriorship affect me my day to
Well, when you
day?
think of your body, how you take care of yourself, everything,
Oh.
like, I mean, like you know,
I have to do a lot of affirmations. As gee, I'm good. As I hobble out of the bedroom. I have to stretch my imagination a little.
well,
Well,
how does that relate to being a warrior for your, you know, how does that warriorship, that determination, the persistence, you
I
know,
just
that strong, focused.
I just make my mind up that, you know, I can do it and I will do it, and I and it makes me feel good that I just say, well, okay, I'm not like before. I was you fester about things, and you know, you start feeling sorry for yourself, and then you all the doom and gloom comes into your thoughts, and it's just making sure that you look at yourself in the mirror and say you're a strong person, your health is good, you can continue to make your mind up or think with your mind, and you're quite clear in what you're doing and making decisions and following them through. And that's what I do. I just every morning I listen to an affirmation on YouTube, which, you know, while I'm fiddling around with everything else on my computer, I've got this affirmation going. So it's just constant reinforcement and making a decision that there are better ways of doing things, and being persistent about it. And I think I really have noticed lately that I can hang on to those kind of thoughts and not fester about things. I can, if I fester about the weeds and the puncture vines in my yard, you know, you can get overwhelmed with that. But I say, okay, it's just lawn, it's green. So you just have, I just say you know, and when I feel that way, and I think a good night's sleep really makes your mind a little lot more clear. You know, having a good night's sleep, and it's such a big difference when you're not waking up tired, and when your clear thoughts.
Well, that brings up that point around where is my attention going,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
where am I spending my attention?
yeah.
And
That's
I think like a good, like a warrior, they wouldn't be distracted by they're on point, you know,
Yeah.
they're disciplined, they're persistent, they're present, they're ready. They could be soft. I know one of the practices I know is just softening the front surface of my body and dropping my barriers, you know. So if you just kind of take a breath in and just imagine just softening the front surface of your body. And it doesn't take much other than just, I'm going to soften it, as opposed to
Yeah.
holding it in
Keep
a
it up.
defense mode. So, and then often I'll think, I'm just going to, in this moment, just drop my barriers and not be all tied up in my mind.
You know, and
Sit.
at the same time, when you do that, your body and your muscles relax.
Yes.
You know, you've got that relaxed feelings. Because when you start festering about, and I say festering, you just, you know, you're uptight. So it's good. You know, you just breathe into it, and having clarity is such a big thing.
And when you know, I think of martial artists, because they are often, they're not necessarily fighting, they're actually premeditating where it's coming from because they're soft and you know. So what's something that you can do to bring this quality more into your life, Madeline?
Well, be more disciplined. That's truly my biggest focus when it comes to what can I do? I can do it better, whatever it is. I can do it better. I can do it more consistently. I can do it more with more consciousness, whatever it happens to be, and noticing when something does feel good, and to keep doing that instead of losing track and doing things that don't feel good, that and being silly, right? Like silly about it. Like, really, that felt so good. Why am I not continuing doing that?
Right.
And that's the discipline part, right? You just get swung by led by the nose sometimes, and it's silly.
Yeah. How about you, Ola?
Just as we've been talking, I've thought, as a warrior, it's not necessarily that you go looking for conflict. I think as a warrior, you can also be a peacemaker and avoid conflict.
Mm, mm,
Not enough of that. There's not enough peacemaking in the world. So
yeah.
I think that's a goal of mine, to be more of a peacemaker than a fighter.
Mm, mm. Lorraine?
Well, it reminds me of a saying that I often say: every day in every way, I get better and better. So that sort of says it all.
Yeah. Well, when I think of this warrior and how it applies in my life, and it's about being able to be present to what's happening, but then also be able to be flexible, and there's a certain amount of determination in there, but a softening around the determination, and just a resting into just letting things flow. Because sometimes, like this river that I see in front of me, if I just allow it to flow, it's just going to keep flowing. But if I dam it up with something that's, you know, then I've all of a sudden blocked the flow. So, and sometimes that can be hard, especially if something isn't as comfortable, you know, if something in the world isn't as comfortable to look at or to accept, you know, like driving home to more snow, to the beginning of winter. It's like, okay, I like winter, but not like that. So, you know, that can definitely just go, you know. So if I were to be a warrior, I would just be able to, you know, soften my body and get out of my own way.
Mm.
And get out and shovel snow.
Well, it's heavy snow. I mean, it's like water soaked
Wet.
snow. So
Yeah.
you just gotta wait for the
Wet.
sun to hopefully come and melt it before the next one comes. Anyways, so what will you take with you from this conversation that will support you until we talk again, Lorraine?
Well, what I'll take away is the fact that we talked about it and kind of I listened to everybody's perspective, and I think just being in that awareness of the strength that one has from within, that you can really that I can really count on, and enjoy and accept and just be.
Madeline?
What I will take away that for the rest of my life, or that, you know, from what we've talked about, well, it's, you know, it's fun being a warrior. It's fun. It's a strength. And so that having that focus of strength is a good thing to focus on. Having strength and conviction and integrity and all the great words that we came up with today. So those infuse me from having just talked about them.
Nice.
Mm.
Olaf?
I liked your yin and yang concept. I'm going to take that. That it's still good to ask the hard questions and to look for the answers, but it's also good to be a peacemaker and to, if you have a conflict, agree to disagree sometimes. I'm going to look for balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I will take with me from this conversation that'll support me is, well, I noticed that, you know, the concept of warrior was such a, it's got such a
Starts with a
interesting
W.
word, right? And you know, so to just, yeah, kind of take this half hour and look at it and go, there's so many aspects to it. And but it's got this hard outer edge, and it's almost like you're sort of like a piece of fruit, like a peach or something that has, or something that has a hard outer edge, but on the inside it's all soft and yummy, right? So that's kind of what I take, is maybe that, you know, that being a warrior, it can have a hard outer edge, but there's also this softness that's there too, and it can be relaxing, it can be fun, you know, that sense of, you know, doing things because it's, you know, it's fun, it's joyful, and being ready for the unknown or whatever it comes up. So what will you take with you that'll support you for the rest of your life? Madeline?
What I will take with me that will support me for the rest of my life. Well, I immediately, when you said a fruit that had something hard on the outside and soft on the inside, thought of lychee nuts, because I love lychee nuts and they are squishy on the inside. And so, you know, when something that you want to face that you can be kind of tough about, and show an edge, you can still feel all your feels and be your squishy lychee nut on the inside. So I will take that with me for the rest of my life.
Ola?
I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life I think the knowledge that as a warrior, you have two sides to every story that, and you have two sides to your warrior status. You can be aggressive and inquiring, but you also have to analyze the situation and make peace with the solution.
Lorraine?
What will I take away for the rest of my life? I like this. I like the analogy about the toughness on the outside and the softness, squishiness on the inside. That's a good thing to take away for the rest of my life.
Well, what I will take away is, well, that there's there's something valuable about those outer shells. They do a lot of work.
Mm.
In the sense of, I think of what do you call it? A knight in shining armor, right? Well, underneath it is is a prince or a man or a god, or, that's sort of on the masculine side, but underneath all the fighting, whatever it might be, is something soft and gentle. So I kind of take away that analogy too. That underneath the warriorship is they're fighting for something that's really true and whole. Awesome.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, thank you very much, Lynn. Yeah, once again, we've had an interesting conversation, and thank you for doing this. Next week, we are going to do N for notable.
Notable.
Anyway, we will see you next week.
Okay.
Just a minute, I gotta stop.